All right. The gate tonight was 6.2 million. The attendance was 18,201. Performance of the night, Rose, Dillashaw, GSP. And there were so many, I actually gave OSP 25 and Ramos 25. So we gave another bonus and just cut it in half and gave it to those two guys because what do you do, right? I mean, it was an incredible night, and they deserve it.
Is that the greatest night of fights that you've promoted?
So I always say that this sport is all about holy shit moments. This was the holy shit card. It was, I mean, every time I would get up to walk over to the octagon, the whole row behind me was going, holy shit, or wow, or, you know, it's no matter how much of an expert you are or you think you are, the sport's crazy. You never know.
And I wonder, first of all, your thoughts on what Rose did. I mean, you know, Joanna was in her face all week and yapping at her, and, you know, not a lot of people gave her credit, you know, talking about Joanna maybe being the greatest women's fighter ever.
Right.
And she stood up to the face of that. You know, did that impress you as much as just the performance in the cage? Yeah,
I mean, she really had it together. She seemed super focused. And you don't see a lot of women's fights where there's just one punch and the woman drops. You don't see that kind of power, especially against somebody that's as good as Joanna is. That was definitely the biggest holy shit moment of the night.
And then lastly, what do you think it means to have GSP back on top? I mean, he was such a popular champion before, and a lot has been made about some of your biggest stars like Ronda and Conor haven't been fighting. To have a guy like GSP that in the past had been money for you, having him as a champion, what do you think that means?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great to have GSP back. And, you know, he came in after a 4-year layoff and fought a tough fight tonight, you know. People think Bisping's easy. Show me one easy fight Bisping's been in that you know, you just go in and walk over Bisping. You don't do it. And GSP looked real good tonight, man.
With George back, I mean, he's obviously such a huge star in Canada. I mean, is there a possibility that you would look at another Skydome show or you know, a big show in Montreal with him as a headliner?
Yeah, it would obviously make sense to go back to Montreal with him. You know, we're pretty sure that tonight, you know, I told some of you guys this yesterday, but Mayweather, McGregor had the record there in Canada, and we were number 2 and 3 or something like that. We're pretty sure that this beat Mayweather-McGregor in Canada tonight. I told some of you yesterday that this would do $1 million. I was way wrong. It did over $1 million.
Do you have any sense of sort of the specifics of that?
You got to wait. I'll have a definite answer tomorrow, but it's looking like we destroyed it.
And I mean, when this fight was announced, I mean, you guys did come in from a fair bit of criticism, and it clearly has paid off for you guys. I mean, were you always confident that this was going to deliver?
That what was going to deliver?
That just this fight was going to deliver.
Yeah, you know, every time there's something about Madison Square Garden, first of all. I mean, both times that we've been here, it's been awesome. But, you know, when you put together a card, like the card we put together, you can't always guarantee. When you look at fights on paper, you're like, that's awesome, that's awesome. You can't guarantee it, but, man, this one delivered, you know. It's just such a good card with so many good fights that even if you have 3 deliver in a big way, you know, it's a good night. But to have the entire card deliver the way that this card delivered tonight, it's awesome. When this happens and comes together, it's fun.
And then have you spoken with Demetrius Johnson? I mean, is he more open to a fight with TJ now?
I haven't, but he should be. I mean, you know, he's been crying for a long time for a big fight. He's got his big fight now. You know I'm down for it because I wanted to do it before, but now it's even better because they both have belts. So, yeah.
Quick question. Hi. I know you and Hyperbole go together great. Best card ever?
It's one of the best ever. You know, to sit here tonight after just watching this card and say, yeah, it's probably the best card I've ever seen. But if you really think back to all the cards that we've done over the last, 15 years, we've had some pretty badass cards. I could count on one hand how many shitty cards we've had. You know what I mean? So to call it the best ever, that's tough. But it was one of the best ever, if not the best ever.
And one last question. What were your thoughts on the 2 fights where the State Athletic Commission had to jump in, the Walt Harris DQ, and then the other fight where he ended up winning by TKO when we originally thought it might be another DQ?
Yeah, they had a weird night. It was, you know, I like that they're using instant replay. I think we should use instant replay. Every other sport does it, and it works great in those sports. But it's weird when you look on instant replay and then still call it a DQ. Did anybody else think that should have been a DQ? He hit his ear. I was talking about the kick to the ear. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's why you use instant replay. You see, he grazed his ear, you know. He threw an illegal kick, but it didn't really land to do any damage to the fighter.
How about Walt Harris?
Walt Harris, what? DQ? Yeah, I don't remember.
Dana over here.
Yeah.
What do you think about Tyron blowing up your Twitter timeline all through in the GSP Bisping fight? Do you think he's going to get that big fight he wants?
What did Tyrone do?
He was blowing up your Twitter timeline with saying he could beat either one of them or Whitaker.
Yeah, it's going to be Whitaker.
Do you have an early time frame?
No. I don't even know what's going on with GSP. You know, he was transported to the hospital, so he's got to get stitches in his nose. You know, he if he doesn't take Bisping down and keeps it standing, he comes out of that fight with almost no damage. Bisping did some serious work from his back, split his nose open, had him blood all over his face, and he took some big shots from the top position. And if he didn't do that, he probably would have come out pretty much unscathed. But he's got to go to the hospital right now. So we'll see how he is. I don't know what the status is with him.
And had Joanna won tonight, when she got that first shot at the 125 after the tough finale?
Say that again?
Had Joanna won tonight, when she got the first shot of the winner, whoever gets the 125 belt?
I don't know what her plans were. I don't know what she was. But yeah, I mean, if she won tonight, pretty much let her do whatever the hell she wants to do.
So is Ronda still the GOAT in your opinion for women's MMA?
Yeah, Ronda's got the record. It's tough to deny the record.
Right here, Dana.
What about the what? That's not true. That Paige is getting the title fight at 100.
My next fight is for the 125 title against the winner of Cup.
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. I love Paige and everything, but no, that's not true.
I think you gave a quote before you got here that GSP and Whitaker is a done deal. But when you say that, you're just saying that's the plan. It's not that it's signed, not that there's a date pick, but that's definitely going to be the fight.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And, you know, you mentioned with Dillashaw saying you wanted to go down. I know you wanted to do that fight before, but, I mean, are you 100% comfortable? Because the guy at weigh-ins, he was under, but, I mean, he didn't look like he had a lot of weight to lose. I think people were a little scared. You know, are we sure he can make 125 pounds? Do you feel confident enough to say no problem?
It's not up to me to feel confident about it. It's him. Does he feel confident he can make that weight? And, you know, he was very confident when I talked to him that he could do it.
Nice. And last thing for me, at the press conference, this was obviously a blockbuster event tonight, but you said that the UFC was trending to have its best year ever, and a lot of people were like, wait a minute, you know, every indication is that pay-per-view sales are down and not trending.
Yeah, whose indications of that? People that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You know what I mean? If you don't know what's going on in our business, how can you speculate that we're having a bad year? This is the best year by a long shot in the company's history. Boom. Ronda didn't fight. Conor really didn't fight in MMA. John Jones fought once. And, you know, Anderson Silva, Chuck Liddell, the list goes on and on and on. You know, the business is kicking ass. Best year ever by a long shot. Yes. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. It's counting all the money that we made in the last 12 months. I can't take that out. It happened. And if that didn't happen, Conor would have fought twice this year. Yeah, you can't take it out. Who cares about the boxing match? It's revenue that the company made that we spent 4 months of our resources promoting.
Dana.
Yep.
Right here.
Yep.
Demetrius Johnson has said previously that he he wants to take super fights, but he also wants to get paid. At least he said previously a couple of millions, or at least a pay raise. Are you willing to give him that?
No, you know what? He's a partner in the pay-per-view. Let's see what your pay-per-view does. You're a partner, and see what you make. Listen, you can't be in a position where you're like, I want $2 million. Fuck you. I don't care what you make. I don't care how much this thing sells. I just want $2 million because I want $2 million. Don't you want $2 million? Do you want $2 million?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Of course you do. Go tell your fucking boss you want $2 million. You don't give a shit what it cost him.
Yeah.
See what he says.
That would be hard, I think.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Dana, you've been right here. You've obviously been promoting the sport for a long time, followed boxing and stuff. Have you ever seen anyone accomplish what George accomplished tonight in terms of taking the time off that he did, returning to fight in a championship fight? And then
no, even Ali didn't look the same after a 3-year layoff. You know, he was still a great fighter, but he didn't look the same as he did before the layoff. And very few people have come back from long layoffs and not only come back and won, you know, in their own division, but to move up to 185 pounds and fight in that division it's tough to do.
Yeah, and typically in terms of Joanna, when a dominant champion like that goes on such a long run, you give them the option of having an immediate rematch. Do you feel like that's probably the next move in terms of the 115 division? I'm
sorry, you wanted to do what?
Do you think she deserves an immediate rematch considering what she did during her title reign?
It depends. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I can't even think about that yet. Obviously, tonight, there's probably a lot of rematches you can make after tonight, but we'll see. I got to get back and figure things out and see where everybody's head's at and what they want to do. And
I guess this is kind of in that same light, but I know you guys just announced a show in London for March. Do you think Michael Bisping said he wants to fight in the UK one more time before he retires? Is it kind of a perfect fit that he may headline that show and kind of go out on
again, depending on how he's feeling. He got pretty busted up tonight. Hey, Lance.
Hey, there was a lot of talk about that the talkers all lost tonight. All the champion talkers lost, and all the people who kept quiet won. You need your fighters to talk. What do you make of that disparity?
I don't need anybody to talk. It's like Pat said to Rose tonight, you be you. We don't need people to talk. We don't need... You can be a mute going into these fights. If you have fights like we have tonight, that's what people are showing up to see. People don't come to these fights for talk. They come here for the fights. And when they fight like they fought tonight, it's incredible. This place was buzzing tonight. I mean, even you guys. How many fights have you guys sat through in your life? Tonight was crazy. Crazy. But thank you guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you at the next one.